Hello and welcome back to another episode of Real Talk on Photography. I'm Austin Miller and I am excited to talk about how headshot photographers can sell into the corporation. My professional background has primarily consisted of working in corporate America, from any startup that's super small to a Fortune 500 company with multi-million dollar budgets. I've been on executive teams working with executives to make decisions around branding, marketing, and how to elevate the brand and the image of the corporation. So I have an intimate knowledge of this space, and I want to share some ideas first on how the corporation is different. So 3 reasons that the corporation is different than selling to an individual. Number 1, the budget available to a corporation is a lot more significant, obviously. These are multi-$1,000, multi-million-dollar marketing budgets that can be spent on any array of things that elevate the brand, that get the company's message out into the market, and allow them to speak to the customers that they want to in an elevated way. So, the reason that this difference is important is because when you're starting to think about how you price your images, we tend to get caught up on, if I move that image price from $50 to $100, is that going to kill the deal? The reality is most likely 90% of the time, no. That $50 or $100 extra per image is going to be very irrelevant at the end of the day when you send over that budget. So get comfortable with high numbers in your quotes, especially at a per image level. Those budgets are exhaustive and they spend them on all kinds of things. So don't get caught up on budget. The second reason that the corporation is different is that there is a need to maintain a brand identity at a high level. These are Fortune 500 companies or startups that are going to attempt to get market space, and they need to look professional. Their image needs to look elevated. They need to look consistent across the board, all of these things. So there is a demand for images of executives, the sales team, all teammates to look the same and look consistent. This is essentially more the truth, the bigger the business or the corporation in the marketplace, that branding element becomes extremely imperative. The third thing is that there needs to be a element of professionalism in all the images. So these aren't just standard headshots that they're wanting to buy. They are wanting a professional to come in and provide a professional experience that is consistent with other vendors that they are serving in the market or that they are working with in the market. So keep that in mind. They are looking to hire a professional, somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that's done this before. So make sure to keep that in mind as you work through your relationship with these corporations. Now, for the second part, I want to talk about 3 selling points that you can keep in mind when you're working with these corporations. And the first is consistency. Look at a corporation's images of headshots, if they have any, on their social media or website. If the images are not consistent, same backgrounds, similar poses, same kind of color palette, or just general aesthetic of the image, this is a major selling point because of that branding element. So bring that up in your conversations on how you can add value by making those elements consistent. The second is around that branding piece as well. We want to make sure that we are elevating the brand of these organizations. So if it is a high-end technology corporation and they don't have headshots, boom, that's a selling point. Second, if the images that they do have don't look professional, if they do not look consistent with the general theme of the brand, if it's a more modern brand, but they have super crappy environmental headshots that it looks like somebody's sister took for $150, then that is a selling point. You want to elevate the brand and align those images with that overall aesthetic of the corporation. So keep that in mind as you're selling. And then third, the biggest selling point is that professional imagery increases trust and authority in the marketplace. So if they don't have headshots or they are not professional headshots, think about that trust and authority that that brand can have if they have your headshots that they are going to market for. Talk about trust and authority with those images because they're more professional. Now, I want to give just a couple of quick tips on the sales process with a corporation because it's a little bit different. So here are a couple of tips. First, move forward with a professional quote. You want to make sure that you're purchasing or building a template that looks professional with your information of who you are and why you're the person for the job. Second, you want to include examples of your work, your images, client testimonials. You want to have that there. And then third, or an additional component of this is that presentation should also have a very simple pricing structure that anybody can understand. There is a saying in sales that complexity kills sales. Keep it simple. Have a session fee and then a per image fee kind of cost structure, and you will be fine. Lay it out. Get an idea of how many employees they have, provide that quote, make it super simple and straightforward so that anybody can look at that quote and know how much they're spending and a basic breakdown of where those costs are coming from. And then third, you want to make sure that you are regularly following up with the organization. Don't be annoying, but remember that sales happen with the follow-up. Whoever you're working with, whoever you've made contact with on LinkedIn, if you say that you're going to email a quote, tomorrow by 9 a.m., make sure that you've emailed the quote by 9 a.m. Exceed those expectations. Make sure that you're following up professionally with email. Make sure that you're using a professionally branded email as well. Do not use a sam@gmail.com type email address. You want to avoid that. It should be sam@professionalheadshots.com or whatever your domain of your website is. Make sure that the presentation that you include is well laid out. It's designed well. Somebody has reviewed it for grammatical errors, that it looks professional, because that is what these companies expect from their vendors. And then lastly, over deliver on what you say you're going to deliver. Be there when you say that you're going to be there. Be punctual. Be ready. Make sure that you're following up with the contact at the corporation after you've done your work. Make sure that they are happy with the product that you have delivered. The more of a professional you are, the better of a relationship that you will have with these organizations. If you execute these tips, you will be able to successfully sell into the corporation at a higher rate than you have before. It takes practice. Get the reps in. Learn how to prospect, but also learn how to build the relationships with these companies and learn how to speak to the value points that are going to close the deal. That is it for today. I hope those tips were beneficial to you. Thank you. We'll catch you on the next episode.